Paris Saint-Germain have secured their place in the UEFA Champions League quarter-final after a 2-1 victory over Arsenal at the Parc des Princes yesterday night, completing a 3-1 aggregate win in the semi-final. After hosting a 1-0 lead from the first leg, despite late pressure from the Gunners, they couldn't find the equalizer as PSG held on to advance to the final. The Champions League final is set for May 31st at the Allianz Arena in Munich, where Paris Saint-Germain will face Inter Milan in a highly anticipated showdown. In that very one. Kingsley, yesterday I know you must have kept your eyes very glued, to your TV set to see what Arsenal will, bring to the table. Generally, were you disappointed with Arsenal, or you just think that it wasn't their day, that they did all they could?
I was disappointed, definitely. I was disappointed with Arsenal Football Club. They started like they wanted to win the match.
True.
Playing, creating chances and all of that. All of a sudden, we saw them dropped, in terms of, performance, in that encounter. For me, I think Arsenal, they didn't actually play like a team that really wanted it. They started initially, but all of a sudden, they dropped. They were not able to create those chances as well. Their passes were not that, accurate, anymore. We didn't see them coming up with that high level of creativity. Playing a team like Paris Saint-Germain, you need to be creative, to see how you can get the job, done. But Arsenal, I think they were a little bit, clueless, in that game. Not, of course, knowing what to do to see how, of course, maybe they can break the defense or possibly create those chances that will help them, of course, get the goals and see what they could possibly, achieve at the end of the day. And another thing is missed chances. We saw Bukayo Saka missing some good chances. There was even an open post before him, and he actually ballooned the ball, away. So the fact that Arsenal at some point they dropped in terms of the mentality they went with in that encounter, missed chances as well was also a problem for them. Coming up with a high level of creativity was also a problem down there for Arsenal Football Club. Sure. They didn't play like a team that needed or that wanted to win, by all means. So for me, I was really disappointed yesterday with the way Arsenal played. And as well, the defense team, we normally know them for yesterday. We didn't see it yesterday. We saw them almost pushing down up front to see how to get the goals. PSG sitting back, going on the counters and got those goals at the end of the day. So for me, Arsenal, I was really disappointed. That was not the spirit I expected, to see from them yesterday. I expected them to come hitting PSG from start to finish, but that was not it. Barcelona lost a day before yesterday. A lot of persons were happy even though they lost. True. Because of the beautiful football they played.
The fighting spirit.
The fighting spirit. But that was not there, in Arsenal yesterday. They were not putting up that high level of performance, seeing what we saw against Real Madrid. So for me, I was really disappointed with Arsenal outing yesterday.
So with that, disappointment in you, will you now say that their victory over Madrid in both legs was more like a fluke because Madrid was not really in form?
But it's more like that. It's more like that, because if you take a look at it, Real Madrid are not in form. And so Arsenal, of course, they were even lucky. Like I mentioned to you the other day, I said those free kick from Declan Rice.
True.
Weighed Real Madrid there, especially at Emirates. So going to Bernabeu, trying to come back, Arsenal also proving point as well. Really brought there. And those goals Arsenal scored for Bernabeu also demoralized them. So that's the thing. So for me, I think just the fact that I think it clearly shows that it's just because Madrid were not in form. That's why Arsenal were able to do what they did. So meeting a team like Paris Saint-Germain, of course, this is a team you've beaten before this season, and then you should be able to, of course, up your game to see how to tackle them this time around. But they didn't live up to expectation at all on the pitch of play. I wasn't impressed with everything, and maybe you could actually tilt it down to the tactical prowess of the manager Luis Enrique, who is very much experienced more than Mikel Arteta, in football. You talk about the UEFA Champions League as well. He's more experienced, than Arteta. Of course, we saw what they did. They sit back a bit and then go up front. Arsenal were there possessing the ball, but the little chance, the chances they got, they were able to utilize it, and got those goals. So for me, that's football. Football is sense. Football is what can I do to overcome my opponent, and that's what Luis Enrique did yesterday. He knows that Arsenal will come parading the ball everywhere, looking for chances. Told the men, sit back. We saw Hakimi yesterday, sitting back, going front. That is it. That's what we want to see. All right. So for me, I think for Luis Enrique tactics yesterday still overshadowed, Mikel Arteta, and I think Arteta has a lot to learn. It's so unfortunate that this is his fifth season in a row, and he's still going trophyless with Arsenal Football Club. So unfortunate for Mikel Arteta.
Very unfortunate for Mikel Arteta. 5 good seasons, no single trophy. I think the last time Arsenal won a trophy in 2020 when they won the FA Cup. And before I bring another question relating to just this, let's take a look at Paris Saint-Germain. You talked about Luis Enrique tactical, masterclass that, saw him, triumph over Arsenal. But then, Paris Saint-Germain under Luis Enrique has beaten 4 English teams en route to the final.
True.
4 top English teams. Does this speak volume of the fact that Luis Enrique is the man that can be able to break that, UEFA Champions League? Maybe call it a jinx for Paris Saint-Germain this season.
Let's see. I won't just sit here and say it's going to do it, because it's going to play against Inter Milan, who are also very determined, desperate, especially what we saw against FC Barcelona. So it's going to be a very tough one for Luis Enrique and his men against Inter. It's going to be a tough one. I can't really, pinpoint on who will get the job or who will get the victory at the end of the day. Both teams are very good. Inter Milan, they've been so impressive this season, especially in the Champions League. And for Luis Enrique, taking down big teams, Liverpool, we talk about Aston Villa, also taking out, Arsenal as well. For me, I think if you look at it, you will say, yes, they stand a chance, in the final. We'll see what Luis Enrique, of course, will be able to do. I think if you take at what he has done so far, he has been able to transform the team, to that team that can compete with any team, of course, in the world at this point in time. He didn't actually rely much, we understand the days of Messi, Kylian Mbappe. Possibly if they were there, we don't know if maybe he would have achieved. But for him to be able to at least make use of the names he has, not really that of the big names, but try to see how to put up that chemistry within the players and put up those that philosophy and that tactics, and the players are able to carry it along. It means he's a good manager and he knows what to do in every game, of course, he encounters. So I believe Luis Enrique has what it takes, to break that jinx of Paris Saint-Germain not winning the UEFA Champions League since the inception of the team.
The English Premier League, touted as one of the most competitive league in the world, being beaten by Paris Saint-Germain. 4 English Premier League top teams are beaten by Paris Saint-Germain, a French League One team. Between the English Premier League and the French League One, which of these, with this, statement of intent from Luis Enrique, will you say is more like a farmers' league? Is it the English Premier League or the French League One?
It's the French League One now. It's more like farmers. The League One is a farmers' league. Every year, PSG wins it. It's only on a few occasions we see the likes of Lille, maybe some other team. I think was in Monaco, the rest, or Marseille or Lyon, coming top. PSG is a farmers' league.
But they said farmers' league has come to beat 4 of the most competitive league in the world.
It happens. It happens. That's football for you. It never can. It happens. You can see a team, of course, coming up, of course, to dominate. Maybe the so-called competitive league. To say at the end of the day. But the fact that what really makes a league a farmers' league, is not when it is when a particular team keeps on winning the league title every season, just like Manchester City did in the last 5 or 6 seasons ago. They actually made the Premier League look like a farmers' league. PSG have been winning the league for a very long time, So he says if every day they go, they farm, they harvest, and they go home. Nobody comes there to compete with them, you know, at the end of the day. So that's what makes them, of course, that's what makes the league a farmers league. But that does not mean that the league being a farmers league, that we do not have top-notch teams that can compete with any other, you know, teams, of course, in the world. Paris Saint-Germain, this is a team that, apart from the fact that, yes, they've been dominating, the owners of the team have really invested. Sure. They've invested, and that's why you see them winning the league every day, every season. If you take a look at it, Paris Saint-Germain are one of the most funded team in the French Ligue 1, and you expect them not to win the title every season. So that's it. So for me, the Ligue 1 is still a farmers league, no matter what PSG did in the Champions League.
All right, I don't know if you agree with Kingsley that the French Ligue 1 is still a farmers league, despite beating 4 English Premier League en route to the UEFA Champions League final. Before we leave Kingsley, let me ask you, Mikel Arteta, 5 years at Arsenal, no trophy. This season, they were highly anticipated that they are going to win at least one major trophy. Knocked out of the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the English Premier League won by Liverpool, the Champions League knocked out, 5 years, no trophy. What would be your decision if you were to be the owner of Arsenal Football Club? Sack Arteta or keep him?
It's difficult for me at this point in time. I don't know what to do at this point in time with the man. I think for me, Arsenal should give Arteta one more season. Yeah, one more season, and then we'll see what he comes up with. Because if you take a look at it, it's not that the man has done so bad. All right, the last 2 seasons in the Premier League, he finished second. All right, it was this one that we expected him, of course. Even this season, possibly he's going to finish second. He has taken the team to the semi-final of the Champions League, which they've never been for a very long time. So the man has tried, but maybe we'll talk about it more when we come in the evening.
All right.